Hello, this is Phyllis Swenson, and I would like to do a getting started tutorial with the TradeData database that I've developed to track your trade data, trade information. So, to start, when you open it up, this is the main screen. I'd just like to go over all the main screen attributes for you. First thing I want to talk about is these three buttons up here, the user parameters, the instructions, and the exit application button. The user parameter, when you click on that, it opens a window with some other information that is sort of default information for the program. Some of it makes a difference, some of it does not. You probably want to change your name and your email in here, but this has your default commissions, your typical time frame you work in, your default number of shares that you want to put into the program. Other things may have effect or not affect. Your maximum slippage could be useful. So please go in there first and make some of those changes. The next button is the instructions button. The instructions will come up by default. When you click on that button, this is what comes up. They come up by default, and there's a button here that says do not show instructions on startup. If you click that, it will not come up by default. You just use the close button to close it, but you can always, if you click this button here, show instructions on startup, then it will start showing that again by default. You can always come back and click this instructions button right here if you need to see that again. There's also the exit application button. This may be obvious, but that's how you leave the application. Inside of FileMaker, which is this is built on, so inside this application, the X's on the windows will not work to close things. You have to have a close button. I've tried to provide a button that says close in every case to close the window, or exit application in this case to exit the entire application. So the next section that we're going to look at, the first thing you're going to do is input a new trade. So this section right here is where we input all the information for a trade that you're setting up. These are the first areas that I look at. I put the symbol, ticker symbol, I put the strategy, I put the trade grouping. These are all from Adrian's daily sheet. I put what brokerage it's in. We have an ability to add up to 6 different accounts. I will discuss that later when I talk about accounts. And you also want to be able to check the sector that it's in. If this sector is not there, or if you want to see more information about the sector, if you click on that U button right there, then this is the sector section that comes up, and you get to put in the company name, the division sector group, sector symbol that you want to use, the exchange that it's on. I get my information off from Adrian or from other sources or from FinViz. I have left my universe in here because it's taken a long time to build, and I think you'll find it helpful. There's no guarantees that it's correct or it's what you want to see, so I have a lot of trouble understanding the sectors, and so therefore go ahead and use this, edit this as you need to use it. And again, there's that close button when you need to get out of it. This button right here, which says description, helps define this strategy. If you are not clear on what the strategies are, all the strategies are outlined inside of there. For instance, this is a backdoor slider. When I click on description, it brings up a window that then has a description, the default description. It also gives you your statistics for how you've done with that strategy and a little graphic to help explain that. You click on the close window button to get out of that. All right, next thing I put in is I put in the high, low, and close from yesterday, and I could do that on Thinkorswim just by saying correct this bar, selecting yesterday's bar, daily bar, and correct the bar, and it'll give me the high, low, and close, and I can copy and paste them right into there. I find that to be very quick and simple. It will calculate yesterday's range, and when I click that update button, it will determine through the plan that this is a short, that this is the entry point is 40.93. So it'll do that for me. It'll also calculate all of my floor trader pivot lines, and those are populated right here based on that information. Then I put in the stop and the target off of the plan spreadsheet, and then I go in and do my own analysis before I really look at those numbers, and I put my numbers, my analysis here, and my goal is to try to get as close to the plan numbers as possible. And if you get within 5 cents, this little red box will turn green, which is kind of nice. It is tracked for reporting on later to see if you're getting better or worse at predicting trades, like thinking like Adrian, we like to say in our household. All right, the next thing I put in is the average true range and the VWAP. I'm using both of those just for statistical purposes to see if I'm analyzing my trades correctly. Like Adrian teaches us, the average true range should be less than the range yesterday. Yesterday's bar should be the biggest range and this is a average true range over 14 days, and that box will turn green if it is. The VWAP can be however you determine it, and that's obviously for the last significant move, and is used also in some comparisons to how good a quality your trade selection was. This trade is all completely set up. The next thing I do is for Thinkorswim, I click this button here. You may or may not find this useful if you use Thinkorswim, but when I click that button, it opens up this window here, which gives me all of my numbers for my trade setup, which is a completely automated trade setup on Thinkorswim. So that once I put in these numbers, it'll do the entire trade hands-free. Obviously, I set this up to fit my plan. If you find it useful, use it. If you need something different for the trading platform that you use, I'm willing to modify this for some other people if you have something defined and specific that you want to put in here. Once a trade has been triggered in, we will be looking at this section of the screen. We put in actual data here. So you put in the actual time and the price and the commissions that you paid. And if you put in this, just the inside, it treats it as an active trade. If you put in both sides, then obviously it's a trade that you have completed. You can leg out if you get out of a partial position and then buy more later. You can click leg out and it'll allow you to put in less than the full amount. This section is where you add notes for the day or mistakes that you made. At this area, you can add that you followed your plan or you made your target and where you should have gotten out. There's buttons for stop, target, 50%, or entry, or you can click on the exit button to input the same amount that you got out, saying that I got out at the right spot. You also have the ability to type in any number you want here. It just helps to analyze that I followed my plan and therefore I did not leave money on the table. At the end of the day, I go into my Thinkorswim platform and I make screenshots of all of the charts that I've planned trades for that day. I click on this button for charts and input them into the section that pops up. And inside of here, I have the ability to add 3 charts. I always add a 5-minute chart since that's what I'm trading off of. And down here, I put the daily chart so that I can see how the pattern was set up and how it played out. By clicking these buttons is how you put those charts in there. You click that and then select a screenshot that you've saved someplace on your computer. And that has to stay consistent, by the way. If you move those screenshots, they will not show up. So this one is a long shape because I used to use it to capture all 3 of my screens at the moment of my trade. I'm not using that anymore, but it's still a place that you can put a picture if you want to. You have also the same information, same analysis information here as you had on the other screen so that you are able to edit that if this is an easier place for you to input that stuff. All right. On this screen, the button to go back to the main screen is return. That will close this window and return you back. About 2 weeks later, I return to the trade. I open up Adrian's spreadsheet and I type in the plan results from the spreadsheet into this box right here. Then I do some analysis with my trade and to maybe why I got the same results or different results. And I can input the analysis into this box right here. That just helps me understand whether I'm following the plan correctly or how accurately I'm able to replicate Adrian's results. The next section of this main screen is the daily data section. And if within here, there's this section of the screen to point out. That section just lists the trades that you have planned or have not triggered in. This section here, they move up here when they have triggered in. The color coding is the green behind this tells you what account that you have put this in, this brokerage button up here. The color behind here tells you what trade grouping around the horn is green. The stocks to watch is blue, etc. This over here gives you a quickly that the green is that it was a win. The yellow is a scratch and red for loss. And to get to a specific trade of the day, you can click on this button here and it'll take you to that trade over here. It'll populate that trade into this window here. In the Show Brokerage area of the daily window, you choose which account you want to set your focus on. So if you are selected, in this case, on account number 1, which is my Thinkorswim virtual account, I am only seeing data on this screen from account number 1. This selection will affect what you're viewing throughout the application. To set up these different accounts, you can click on this account button. These beginning and ending balances are also showing only the accounts that is in focus. If these numbers at the beginning balance and ending balance are incorrect, possibly because maybe you went back and added a trade from a previous day or for any other reason, you could click this Update Balances button and it will recalculate all of your beginning balances and ending balances. So that's a useful button to know if these become not accurate and you cannot figure out why. But you can set up these accounts by clicking on this Accounts button, and it will open up this Accounts screen. Within this account screen, there are 6 accounts already set up. You can change the name, you can set the opening date and the opening balance, and then you can also adjust the balance if anything happens, like you earn some interest or for any other reason you need to adjust the balance in this account. You click that Adjust Balance button, and this window will open up where you can put in an amount on a specific date for a specific account and even give a reason for it. This can help keep your account accurate. Okay, the next section we're going to talk about is the monthly section. There's really nothing that you need to add or delete out of this section. This just gives you your totals for the month, your number of trades, your wins, your losses, your total profit before commissions. You have also your gross profit over here. Your gross profit for the Around the Horn plan only is here. And the plan gross profit is here. It says Adrian. I'm going to change that in the next version to say plan. Those Adrian numbers are based on what you have typed into in this section over here. Also in this section is this button here, this trade list button. If you click on that, you will get a trade listing of all of the trades that you've placed this month. And again, the totals at the top and individual information about the trades here and some breakdown of how the different strategies worked out or the weekday stats worked out. And again, you can choose which accounts you're looking at. Important to note that to get back to the main screen, on this screen, you click this button here to choose a specific trade and it'll return you back to the main screen with focus on that given trade. You can also click the Summarize by Day button on this screen, and that will take you to a screen that has the same trades, but just grouped by day. So again, totals up here. And again, to get back to a given trade, you click on that button right there. You also have the ability from this screen to go to the 12-month, look at the 12-month screen and see a yearly. And there you get your totals for the entire year and can scroll through previous and next to get to different years to review your data. To get returned back to the monthly screen, you click on the month, again, that same button. You will go back to the screen that's for May data, and then you can click again on the specific trade that you want to go back to focus on. It'll return back to the main screen with that focus. All right, back on the main screen, if you click on this button that says daily, that says chart observations in the daily section, then up comes a screen about the day. You have the ability to put in information about the day, the news that came out, the pre-market bias, the weakest or strongest sectors, what you could have done better, what you ate last night, what you visualized, what stresses were going on, as well as to put a single daily chart of your choice in there. You can do that again by clicking the Change Add Photo button to be able to add that picture. I usually put spiders, or sometimes I put a compilation of a number of different charts in there as a screenshot for one picture. Then again, you push that Return button to get out of that daily section. Okay, the last section I'm going to cover is the analysis reports section. So once you have a lot of data in here, you're going to want to be analyzing it. That's the reason why we have this in here. So if you click that button right there, Analyze Reports, up pops this window here. So this window, first thing you're going to want to do is select the trades that you want to review. So you can click on this section and put in a number of trades. So say I wanted to select the last 40 trades. So you type in the number 40 there and click on number, and it will reset your focus to what you're looking on the last 40 trades. Or you can click on all, and then it looks at all your trades forever. You can click in this section. It gives you a quick way to say, I want to look at last week, last month, last year, or this week, this month, this year. Again, and then this here will let you put in specific dates. So I want to look at these specific dates, and you type in the dates and then click specific date, and it will set the trades for you. And finally, that right there tells you what section you did click, what you're currently set to. This is probably a good thing to do every time you come into this window, because if you add a trade, like you may be looking at this month, but if you add a trade, it's not included in this month's trades. So you need to do that every time you come in there. Then once your focus is set to whatever selection you want, then you can choose a report. These reports are a work in progress. They'll be changing all the time. Some of these are cleaner and more effective than others. If you do find mistakes, I would love to hear about them, because I have not scrubbed over all of them with a fine-tooth comb. And again, the close button, you click close to get out of this window and return back to the main window. Thanks for watching this tutorial of the TradeData database. I hope you got a lot of information out of this. If you did, please, please, please click the like button below and subscribe if you want to keep up with where we are and what we're doing. Also, always I welcome improvements, enhancements, corrections to this TradeData database. As said before, it's not a finished product, and no guarantees that it's going to improve your trading, but I think it helps a lot. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.